back here, right, man? Go. Okay, hold that real quick. There's many reasons,
Hi, I'm Sarah Capello. I'm from northern New Jersey, as well as the rest of my band. We're all from there, born and raised. We're from the band McCalister. I sing and play guitar. Then we have on the drums, we have Dan Martino. On bass and vocals, we have Andrew Van Buskirk. And on guitar, we have Bobby Grimaldi. And together we make McCalister, which is a pop-punk alternative sort of band. They wanted some ridiculous name like McDuff. They wanted McDuff really badly, and I was like, guys, like that's a really ugly name. Like we are not gonna be called a McDuff. That is so ugly. I think Home Alone was on TV or something like that, and then Bobby was like, what about like McCalister? And at first I was just like, like I don't know, like whatever. It kind of sounds like an old Englishman, which it does kind of still. But then, you know, it kind of stuck around and we couldn't think of any other names, and we were just kind of like, oh yeah, like McCalister, like I think it fits, so we went with that. A lot of people are always just like, oh, like you're in a band with all guys, like don't you kind of feel like you're getting in the middle of throwing out with them? And like honestly, not at all. Like I don't feel like oh, I'm the girl in the band. Like I don't feel like I have to stand out in any way, and I don't feel separated from them in any way. Like I feel like I'm supposed to be there. Like this is the dynamic we're in, and like yeah, they pick on me, but like it's a good environment, and I don't feel like I have to be the female of the group. Like I just feel like I'm a member of McCalister. Bobby is, he wasn't an original member of Leighton, but he came into Leighton, which is how he ended up in McCalister. When we parted ways with one of our guitarists, he replaced her. And I was really excited because he's very good at guitar, and he's really good at like listening and being like, hey Bobby, like I'm thinking about like this lead part, and he'll be like, got it, and he like has it, and he'll be like, well what if I did this instead? And I'd be like, cool, like I like that too. So he like really meshed in, and him and Dan get along really well. I remember he was friends with another friend of mine, and we were like, oh my gosh, like we really need a drummer, like we don't know any drummers. And she's like, oh, like my friend Dan plays, like you want to meet him? And our first interaction was so awkward. It was like he literally took us into his basement and he was like, let me talk to you about my drum kit. And I'm just like, what are you saying to me? Like it was the most awkward interaction I've ever had. But he was such a good drummer, and I was so impressed with his drumming abilities. Andrew is our newest member, but like he really brought McCalister together. Like Andrew being in the band has been one of the best decisions we've made, because he's really musically there, and he understands when I'm writing like, oh okay, that's an E moving to an F, like let me throw that in the bass, and like he understands what I'm doing, and he's also been really good with lyrics, and he's really dedicated, and he's texting me all the time being like, hey, like I have another song idea, like I really want to show you this, or like, hey, like, you know, I have this new vocal idea, like let's work with that. And also he came into an environment where the three of us were very close, and he fit in really well. At first McCalister was just sort of like a fun thing that like, hey, we should play music again together. And then when I got the call for Wicked Music Festival, like suddenly like McCalister got like kicked into gear. It was the Monday of Hurricane Sandy, and like literally I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose power. And suddenly I get a phone call from Canada, and they were like, oh, like we're representing Wicked Music Festival. It's a festival of unsigned bands to kind of like showcase their abilities, and there's prizes and things like that. We were wondering if your band would be interested in performing. This could be fun. Like it would be at Webster. Like I can get kids from NYU to come. Like sure, like, let's do it. And they were like, okay, like, we'll send you out some details. And like, I called Dan. I was like, Dan, like, oh, I think we have a show. And I was like, yeah, like, we're gonna have to get some tickets out there, and we're gonna really have to get writing, but like, I think we can do it. And they were like, yeah, like, let's do it. And like, ever since then, we've just been in this like overdrive mode of like, let's make McCalister like be something that we could be proud of.
Bobby! Say hi!
What are you doing?
Jamming.
Yo, whatever. I guess, I mean, a lot of it is like, we'll each individually get into our own zone, and then we'll all like, usually what happens is we'll all come together, we'll joke around with each other, kind of get ourselves in like a good vibe of just like, hey, let's have some fun. Like, we'll do a lot of jumping up and down, and we'll just kind of like goof around with each other, and we'll talk about like the bands that are playing and like go over set stuff. We've done this before. Like, it's not so much nervous about like being on stage. It's just like, you know, getting the notes right, making sure like everyone comes in and comes out at the same point, and just making sure that like the amount of fun that we're having is being portrayed to the audience. So just getting ourselves in a positive mindset.
That's a really nice hat.
I know, it's yours. I stole it from you.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I still haven't named
Hey!
that song. I haven't named that song. What am I gonna call it?
If you want, by all means,
not that one.
Not that one, you did.
I haven't named it. I'm just gonna say what comes to mind.
Huh?
Shit, I forgot to name it. I'm just gonna say what comes to mind.
Fine, whatever.
For like a one moment, it's like, oh gosh, like I really hope that like Dan remembers that fill, or that like, you know, Andrew's like cool with the vocals and things like that. But then literally the next moment, I'm just like, all right, like we got this, like let's do it. Like it's like one moment of like, like is everything gonna fit? And then like literally like the next moment, it's just, okay, like this is something I really want to do. Like I'm super excited. Like let's get out there.
Check, 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 one, check, check.
Hey, now I can hear you.
How you doing?
And you guys have a camera crew.
Yeah. And we have 2 vocals.
2 vocalists, thank you. You heard me ask every other band that question.
I'm ready for you.
Alright, so 2 vocalists, 2 guitars, bass, and drums then.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, you don't need any DIs or anything?
Oh, man.
Awesome, let's fucking do this.
But I
This was the first time in a very long time that the 4 of us have been on stage together, but it felt like super right, and it felt like everything was going the way it should have been, and I was very pleased with it. I threw out my back, but besides that, it was good. I enjoyed it.